All right. So this weekend I ain't have nothing to watch. So I finally binge watched Tulsa King, but I'll do a review on that. But the review I want to do is about this documentary. It was on HBO Max. I was surfing around HBO Max, and I came across "Calm Now," Miss Cleo documentary. It was so freaking good. It was really good. I know I seen a commercial for it before. Not a commercial. I saw some advertisement about it before. Not really a commercial. Probably in between going down Instagram or YouTube or whatever. And I really enjoyed it. It was really sad though because basically this whole lawsuit that the state of Florida had against the actual company was the psychic network people. It was owned by two white guys, and she was the face of the network, and that's what generated so much money. And she had a bullshit ass contract. She didn't have rights to the name Miss Cleo. She didn't even have rights to her own image of her, which is very weird because they had sold books, they had tarot cards of her, t-shirts and shit, probably like that, a lot of novelty stuff, and it was just so sad and interesting. And the simple fact that they really could not find out who she really was, where she was from and stuff, until later on. A private investigator had a copy of her birth certificate, and she's born in California. She's from California. She went to a like a finishing school, an all girl, prestigious all girl school, whatever, supposedly was adopted. It's all these stories she told people, and she held on strong to that fake ass accent. Growing up like in the 90s, seeing that, I didn't really it did not, I didn't believe it. It just seemed weird to me because how it was just too heavy. So I wouldn't say it was all the way fake, but it was just too forced. I guess that's what it was. But besides all of that, they talked about that she went to a theater, um, like a theater school, or she was part of this theater company that she stole all their money. So much she had cancer and all this other stuff. What else was going on? Yeah, her real name is Yuri, but they called her Ree. And at the Seattle theater company that she was a part of, that she stole people money and took off. So it seemed like she was a scammer basically all her life. And so when the opportunity presented itself with this, she know how to read tarot cards, but she took it to the next level and basically got these two white men millions and millions of dollars, and she didn't have shit. Her contract was shitty. She said the first infomercial that she had made, they paid her $1,700 or something like that, which is good, I guess, for 1995. But then, they had so much stuff. They copyrighted and trademark her name, the name that she had created. So, but it was real interesting, because it brings you back to that 90s nostalgia of infomercials, right? And how people were calling up infomercials, and now it was just a part of life. We always seen it. And when Miss Common Now who came on, that it brings back a feeling, a vision, a smell, all those things. And I just felt so bad for her. I did. I really did feel bad for her. I mean, on a moral stance, she is responsible, but on a financial stance, it's not. They basically, like people love to do, they like to use and abuse black women. And the main reason I feel like people trusted her, because I don't know if it was the accent, but she's a big black woman. It's just like a whole mammy perspective of it. We love mammy, you know, Aunt Your Mama's, Uncle Ben's type characters, and people believed it. And all the people on the psychic line, they were regular people. They had ads in the paper about, remember ads in a newspaper about, like, if you're looking to be not a counselor, but like working for the psychic helpline. I'm like, what? Like, anybody could have done that. And they had some of those psychic operators, the people that was answering the phones. They had them on the documentary, and they were talking about, like, these are just regular Joes, they're not psychic, and talking about the people that used to call. They were saying that it was they were people that just was looking for people to talk to point them in the right direction, and all they were supposed to do was basically keep them on the line, because I think like the first 5 minutes is free, $5 each for $4.99 a minute afterwards or whatever. And what's so hilarious about it is that the fine print on those infomercials, it says for entertainment only, but not realizing that y'all people are racking up 1,700 in the phone bill is high as fuck. And that was back in the 90s. So, like, people were talking about their kids was calling, staying on the phone hours and hours and hours. And I'm like, yo, that we used to be on the phone. And I'm like, $4.99 per minute. Like, yo, that's a lot. That's a lot of bread. But in the end, they had dropped her from the lawsuit or whatever because she wasn't held responsible. Like I said, on a moral stance, of course, I felt like, but it put her in a real dark place because everybody was pointing a finger at her because she was like the figurehead. She was the mascot. So it was her fault. It was everyone tried to blame her, and it wasn't her fault. And that's why I felt bad because, people were making fun and ridiculing her and stuff about it. And I'm like, I had a lot of sympathy for this black woman or whatever. Of course, later on, like in the 2000s, she had came out or whatever, and that was dope. She had a couple of white bitches, and then ultimately she had died of cancer at the age of 53, in Florida, of course. But it's just like, just imagine, like, her friends that was close to her, her partners were saying that she became very ill. She became very ill, I'm sure, mentally, and felt terrible and sunk into depression because this whole thing that happened with the psychic network, whatever the hell it's called, this company or whatever. And we don't know how these. We didn't know. No one knew how these dudes look. Everyone placed the blame on her, and it was like the world going against her type thing. And I just thought it was so upsetting and sad. It's sad. And it's like, we don't, like, nobody can come out like, this is my sister. This is my daughter. This is my auntie. Nothing. She didn't have kids. She had god kids, white. But she didn't have kids either. And it's just so weird that she still was a mystery. Like, she was a mystery stuff. And she came in and she gone. And that's it. But y'all got to check that out. I really enjoyed it. It was good. Like I said, I didn't have anything to watch, and I stumbled upon it. And if you want a little flashback of 90s infomercials, go check that out. They had Raven Simone was talking of Raven Simone was one of the people they were talking to. Deborah, I can't remember her name. Deborah from Mad TV, because they put up actors and comedians who actually mocked her and played her, I guess, or whatever. Um, and I thought that was cool. It was very good, deep insight from these women, these black women, or whatever. They had a Jamaican professor, a PhD doctor up there. She was talking about it, and the people that she robbed at the theater and stuff like that. They were talking about it. So, um, how she scammed them, but ultimately they had some empathy and sympathy for her, because just imagine, you can't. She was like wearing a mask. Like, was she actually Reed? Was she your Reed? Was she Miss Cleo? Like, what? Who is this woman? Who is this woman? And it's just like, she came into your life and then she was gone, right? And she was all over the place. I remember that. And they showed clips when she was on Jenny show. What was her Jenny Jones show? Was it Sally Raphael show? Like, she was on all these shows and stuff like that. And I didn't realize what a tall woman she is. She has to be had to be like at least 5'11". She was a big woman. And I was like, and her smiling all the time. Like I said, I'm sure a lot of white people was calling as well. All of us was calling. I never called because I couldn't be on the damn phone. But I'm sure it was plenty of people calling, and it was something loving and welcoming and charismatic about her. So I get it. I get it. But R.I.P. Miss Cleo, Miss Yuri, Ree, how many other names you have. But yeah, check that out. Call Me Now, Miss Cleo. It was very insightful, interesting, and I think people will like it. If you are a '90s girl in the '90s world, yeah, check it out. Let's discuss.